Let's move on to another case there. This one out of Atlanta. Interesting developments in the YSL RICO case involving Young Thug as well. Kind of catch us up to speed because we've been talking about this. This one's been going on for quite a while. Catch us up to speed on what's the latest developments there out of Fulton County.
It's such a long trial, and this is an organized crime case against rapper Young Thug, who's a big star in the hip-hop world, and this accuses him of running his record label as a gang. And we are, 4 or 5 months into testimony, and there was a woman who was actually arrested on a material witness warrant because prosecutors said they were afraid she wasn't going to show up to court. And she had a shooting at her apartment back in 2013, and there's some questions of what actually happened with this. And prosecutors say that it involved Young Thug and a couple of his friends went into her apartment, and there was a shot fired into the wall by a co-defendant named Walter Murphy, DK Murphy, who's a co-founder of the YSL gang and is supposed to testify for the prosecution later. It's actually not even charged in the indictment, but prosecutors obviously see this testimony and this incident as relevant to some of their other charged conduct. So they were getting her on the stand, but it's come out that she has a reluctance to testify, and she's blamed it on a DA investigator actually harassing her. And this came out in testimony over the last couple of weeks, but today was the day that we actually saw the text messages from the investigator to her, where, I mean, it seems like he's pretty clearly flirting with her, or the Young Thug's lawyer was calling it, it looks like he's trying to ask you out on a date. But I said on Twitter, I think that dating is a pretty generous word here when you just look at the power position that he's in and the position that she's in, being pressured to testify in this trial. And it's come out that she's told them that she doesn't know anything about this. And of course, the implication from prosecutors is that she's intimidated by Young Thug and the other alleged gang members and doesn't want to testify because of them. But I think Young Thug's lawyers have done a really good job of highlighting these harassing text messages from the investigator and really showing that he was, saying, oh, hit me up later. We don't need to talk shop. And just the messages that we're sending her really seemed to cross the line. And the fact that the woman pretty openly complained about this and even said something about, you're going to get another news headline about an investigator. I mean, she's clearly upset about this. And I think it was a little concerning, at least to me, to see that the DA's office had then had her arrested and jailed.
Yeah, that is quite the development as well, to not only exchange these text messages, but then have her arrested in jail for potentially not showing up as a witness. And if this is proven true, how could this have a major impact on this trial that's already a lengthy one?
It's all about the credibility of the witness. And then I think we're getting into a credibility of the overall case and the credibility of the prosecutors when jurors are seeing these kind of tactics and thinking back to some of the testimony that they've heard. And one thing the prosecutors have done is really kind of aggressively push the fact that they think that this woman said something to somebody in the office about something profane to the judge, said, the judge can kiss her behind. And she insists that she did not say that. And Young Thug's lawyer brought it out today in text messages that the text messages that the prosecutor characterized as her saying the judge can kiss her behind were her threatening to go public with this harassment stuff and saying, I want a judge to call me, have him call me. So we have yet to actually see this supposed profane message she had for the judge, but we have seen some stuff that really does not paint the Fulton County District Attorney's Office in a good light.
Yeah, not a good sight for that, not a good light, and there's just so much about perspective through the eyes of the jury as well. And we talked about the length, I mentioned that before, but let's talk timeline. And this could be a record-breaking case, a record-setting case in terms just of the length. Can we get into that and maybe how much longer this will take?
We have actually, believe it or not, heard the year 2027 floated. And they had a kind of a reckoning on this last week. They had a conversation about it because one of the defense attorneys actually filed a motion asking to limit the number of witnesses because it said that we're going to be put into 2026. If prosecutors keep going at the rate that they go and they want to go through all the witnesses and charges that they have, it's going to take till 2026 just to get through their case. And he said that doesn't include the defense case, that doesn't include rebuttal, and then that also doesn't include the cross-examinations of the witnesses. So it's kind of mind-blowing to think about, but it really struck me as a conversation that you would expect to have within the DA's office when they're planning out their case, because the judge feels like he's kind of tied from, he can take it on a witness by witness basis when something becomes cumulative or not and just repetitive. But if they have 191 different overt acts and they want to bring witnesses on each, I mean, for him to cut it off as cumulative is a little much. It's more of a strategy plan for the DA's office. How are they going to keep this jury? I mean, if you just think about what happened in your life over the last year, anyone watching this, I mean, unexpected things happen. So the idea that the 12, or I think they have about 14, 15 people right now, 2.5 years from now, are still just going to be able to be there every day for trial. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, hard to imagine. 2027 feels so far away, and we're in an election cycle right now. Potentially could happen in the next election, 2028. We'll see what happens there. All right, Meghann, thank you so much for your time here. Major developments there in those two cases. We appreciate your perspective, your context, as always, here on Live Now.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much. All right.